I've never seen it in person. Yeah. Yeah, and then Good, you? What are you up to? Of course, I Things quiet? Nope.
And then I'm doing the museum. That's her.
Is that what it is? Oh. That's it.
Put back, so we kind of have that. I think it's 30 months.
Yeah. Good, you guys.
That's the problem. Doesn't rain out here. Good afternoon, City Hall.
I think this is my third hand.
Can you hear me? Are you still there?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean,
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes, we all had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. I entertain any questions or additions to
motion to approve the minutes as presented.
okay? No second. Motion's been made to approve the minutes and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Claims, take a look at claims. Any questions on the claims? Preliminary claims. Okay. There's also a building permit list.
Wait a minute. You want to approve the claims?
So,
Motion to approve
okay,
August claims for $174,316.59.
okay, then motion to approve the claims. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign, motion carried. All right. Building permit list. Court report of 210. Okay, how about committee reports? Merlin?
Nothing for me.
Or
Nothing for me.
Brad?
Nothing for me.
Roger?
Of course, we done for it. We just met, prior to this meeting with, a group representing the Lions Club, and they're proposing again, a skate park, for, skateboarding, rollerblading, kind of a multi-use area there. And I'm proposing it in our area, Scott Field, down in the area of the swimming pool and possibly the tennis courts that might be adjusted as far as where it actually goes, but, they have some money that they're already, have matching monies, they have to match the monies that have been allocated to them or, that they're working against as far as that goes. Project could be, between 200,000 and 300,000 when completed. It's no cost to the city. Our portion of it would be the dedication of a portion of the park, and as far as that goes for that particular venue status, so to speak, is we would be giving that portion of the park up. So there's a lot of things that are just now in the beginning of talking stages. We're going to be checking with our MMIA as far as that goes about liability. This isn't the first one in the state. There's 30 some others that are already here on the same type of a program that have been built. So, but, back in 2021, we had another proposed skate park and, never really get anything, went anywhere necessarily. Had that on the vine, so to speak, so. At any rate, I think this one has a little more gusto, have nice, kind of an overview of what it could look like as far as that goes. But there's a lot of things they're gonna be doing now. They're coming back on the 16th. And we're under no time constraint as far as that goes to give them permission if that's what happens. But we're just working on it. So, and that's it. So.
Okay, thank you for the
Yep.
report. Thank you. Okay, I don't see any announcements. We'll go to public comment. I think we'll start with you, Mr. Patterson.
Lonnie, gentlemen, thank you. Can you hear me now?
We hear you.
I'm just wondering, Mayor, when and how the chip sealing, I know paving is expensive, was decided. As you know, our property on 27-2 Front Street, the old cookie dough place we bought, has two busy gravel roads on both sides and in front of us. Of course, the one road running up to the grass dump and the shooting range for the city county, and the other one with trailers and stuff on the other side going up to the water bill. And the dust there is it's just terrible. So I just would ask if there's any way I could request and maybe get on the list next time you chip seal the streets, because I noticed they chip sealed all the way up to the elevators for the tree debris, and that actually comes out on our property up there above the railroad tracks. And there's not near the amount of use that the cars running up and down pulling trailers on both sides of us on Front Street. I mean, preferably you could chip seal up to where people fill their water tanks. Can you shed any light on that, please?
We're not going to get in with the dialogue because you're just here for public comment. Why don't I?
Oh, okay.
I'll just get you my phone number and you and I can discuss it.
All right, Lanny, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I've addressed this. The water pressure on our end of town is terribly low. So if you could have Mr. Rodriguez look into that. I know some of my neighbors have complained too that the water pressure is extremely low.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
John, do you want to stay on the line?
He's still on. Okay. Any other public comment? None? Okay, we'll move on. It's 6:40 yet?
Just about.
Let me just go to,
You can start.
we got unfinished, I just go to unfinished business, I guess. Unfinished business, I visited with John Baker on his patio encroachment, and he's quite busy over in Lewistown right now, and he basically wants an open-ended date to get that patio. He's still willing to take that patio off, and because things have changed with his family, he wants to take it all the way back to the building. He doesn't want to have a due date on it. So anyway, I think what we'll do now, until he can get here and discuss it, we'll just go ahead and just table it and see what we get.
This is the house next to the bridge in the Grand Union.
Yeah, right, yeah. So,
That was the
It's been hanging out there.
patio encroachment.
Over a year.
well, I just
More than
for everybody's sake, I pulled the minutes. And, in November of 2022, that's when it came to light for the city council. And he put it in without a building permit. And when Mark Ball went up and visited with him during the course of putting that in, he submitted a building permit, but it got denied because he was encroaching on city property. So then we went into dialogue to see how we could rectify that. And we gave him until the spring of 2023 to put it back to his property line. And as of August, let's see, July 17, 2023, he still hadn't done it. And he came to the city council and asked for more room to remove the patio off the city property. And he mentioned that there was a contractor lined up that they backed out on him. And anyway, through his course of his business, there was another setback. So he asked for more time. I don't have it. So anyway, then in August of 2023, a month later, he came back to city council and he basically said he was kind of short of funds and he was having a hard time funding getting that deck removed this in 2023. So Roger, you recommended we give him time until the spring of 2024.
Yes.
And to get it done. And I was offered to help him find a contractor to do it. And now we're here. So when I visited with him, I sent him a letter to ask him how he was doing on it, and he chased me down at the water plant, and we had quite a conversation that I won't really get into detail, but he wants an open-ended date to take that patio back to the building so he can do something else. And so anyway, we'll just table it from there, and then we need to have a discussion and figure out what we're going to do. Okay?
Yeah, rather than the word table, let's use postpone action.
Postpone action.
Yeah, table is.
Okay. Now, we can close the meeting. Next, we can close the meeting. Open a public hearing on the encroachment for Kevin Kittredge fence, second reading. Okay. Let's just open that up for comment.
Garrett, do you have a position on that?
Yeah, after Jordan Lanny and I spoke last week, and I spoke with Jordan. Our recommendation is at this time, because there are outstanding issues with that right of way, Jordan and I do recommend that you either table the application or deny it with leave to resubmit later. That's what I think would be the most prudent course of action is at this time.
Would you stand up again and take a position?
Oh, I'm Grant Kelly, I'm the contract city attorney, I guess, or there you go. City attorney.
I didn't want to get
Jordan's
your title wrong, so so anyways, that's where we're at. Okay, but I'll still entertain any other public comment on it. Okay.
Comment is Forest 11. Structures have to be removed. There's an existing fence already on the property. If it gets tabled, I made comments before about adverse possession. Nobody likes the comments. I don't like them either. But if it gets denied, then that's off the table. So just to keep it the way it is. So that's what we'd like to see. Property staying the way it is right now. We're cleaning it up, planting grass, cleaning up the structures. You know, our plan is to take the RV park and expand it, make it nicer. It's been run down for many, many years. And our plan is to clean that up and be a successful part of the town
But you hopefully will get fee title, right? That's what you're going for.
Yes,
Okay, so that's, if you do get fee title, then you can expand the park.
I did not say expand the park to that property, to expand the park in other parts, and clean up the park and make it, better for the community, The park brings in money, the harvesters are there during summer celebration and other events. The more people we bring in, the more money it is for the community, and that's what our goal is, to expand it, make it a beautiful part of it, which it never has been, a beautiful part of it. That's the goal.
So what I hear you saying is, we table this, you're still trying to gain fee title to that property.
Eventually, yes.
Any other public comment? State your name, please.
I'm Ron Nelson. I'm with Front Range Law in Great Falls. I represent the Kittredges. And we're here on behalf of them, asserting that the commission should grant the application for encroachment. First of all, there's no adverse possession of public ground. That's not a possibility. So that's going to be public ground, regardless of what anybody, unless there's an abandonment, which I don't understand anybody's made that effort. But separately, our clients or my clients want to maybe do something very similar, and that is make that much more attractive and beautify the property. They recognize that they don't own the property and can't own the property, and would like to just extend a 40-foot buffer into that property and beautify it and make it good for the community and enhance the neighborhood. So I don't, Grant and Jordan and I had an opportunity to talk today, and I don't know that we're necessarily against the proposed or the recommended action from the city attorney, but we will, to the extent that it's denied, we'll reapply. And we don't believe that there's any private use of that property, and we're intending to use it only subject to the encroachment permit that you grant, and then only to the only way you grant it, and ultimately make it a more attractive and beautiful piece of property in the community.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments, council? Anybody out there? I would entertain any motions.
Can I make one more comment?
Sure.
Sorry for coming in late. That property, like we've expressed before, has been under the Bramlett's control and possession for 70, 75 years. That adverse possession is 5 years. We're not trying to force that right now. We will if our hand is forced. Public lands can be adversely possessed, and the fact that this property has been in this way, I don't believe it should be changed now just because it's changing hands. Everybody's had 75 years to do something with this and hasn't. So what's the point in trying to force something through right now other than to cause an abrasive action in the community? And that's what seems to be happening here. It seems like there's a lot of abrasive action going on here just because we're purchasing the property and going through this. And right now, it really should just stay the way it is. That's how we feel.
Thank you for it. Okay, any discussion from the council?
I'd entertain a motion or I will make a motion, you would be saying re-entertaining. At any rate, I'm not entertaining. I am making a motion to deny the request from Kittredges for encroachment, and based on our attorney's advice, I'm making that motion to deny the request.
Okay.
I'll second that.
The motion's been made to deny the encroachment request. And seconded. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Roll call vote. Oh,
How exactly are we?
This is denying the request for
I
encroachment.
deny.
yeah, I know. I'm gonna do a roll call. Okay, so.
Say
Aye.
Cory.
Aye. Deny.
Good night.
Okay. Let the record show that there was 5 ayes and 0 nays to deny the permit. Okay. So we will. Are they supposed to go back in session?
Yes.
Yes.
Roger. Were we supposed to go back in session to do that?
No, that's part of this.
Okay, so,
Now we go back. in-
okay, now we'll go back. Thank you very much. All right, now we're back in the regular session. We got a whole bunch of resolutions to do. There's a whole bunch of these resolutions from 1597 to 1614. And they're all water utility liens.
Make a motion to approve by roll call vote resolutions 1597 to 1614 for the purposes of unpaid water tax and sewer tax liens. And your favorite part of it.
Well, I have to read it.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
Dispense with the reading.
Good, thank you very much. Okay,
You need a second.
I second.
okay, it's been motioned and seconded to dispense with the reading of these resolutions for liens and to approve it. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
For the resolution. Okay, any more discussion? Any more discussion? All, by roll call vote, Merlin?
Aye.
Aye. Bad?
Aye.
Vern?
Aye.
Roger?
Yep.
Motion carried. Okay. Now we have one more resolution on the agenda. It is resolution 1615, a resolution for the city of Fort Benton, Montana. And this is, Cindy, could you explain this better than I can?
This is the TIF loan forgiveness program that Tony Longan had applied for. I guess Bob Milford's here, he could probably,
Through the tip.
you can,
Want me to say?
Yes.
Would
you're the guy, you're the man.
Tony Langen had applied for a loan forgiveness from the city, and we approved that. The TIP board approved it, gave it to you all, you approved it, and he has completed the project. He's put all the new windows in the second floor. He's painted the entire building, and the TIF board has reviewed it with a vote of 1 abstention, which was Tony Langen, 1 absentee. All the rest voted in favor of approving this, so we're bringing it to you, asking you to go ahead and approve it.
And this is at the bank club.
This is the bank club, correct?
Bank club, yeah. It doesn't say bank club on the resolution, but it gives a legal description. So, I will go ahead and read this one. Roger, right?
Need a motion.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to the approval of resolution 1415. Huh?
1615.
Oh, wait a minute, my dyslexia. Resolution 1615, yes, there we go. As recommended by the TIF board.
For a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So here it is, resolution 1615. Whereas the city of Fort Benton has created a tax increment finance district and provided for a rehabilitation and facade restoration revolving loan program. And whereas Tony Longan, owner of the property in the city of Fort Benton, Shoto County, Montana, described as lot 16 and block 15 of the original town site, has applied for and received approval through the Tax Increment Finance Board and the Architectural Review Board to remodel the facade at the above stated property. And this is the bank club. Whereas $10,905 has been applied for and approved through the revolving loan program to repair and rehabilitate said facade, with repayment being made by assessment of property tax of said owner in 7 consecutive years. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Fort Benton, assembled, does hereby resolve as follows, that the following amounts be hereby assessed as a special levy against the above described real property for the following years. 2024, 1557.86, 2025, 1557.86, 2026, 1557.86, 2027, 1557.86, 2028, 1557.86, 2029, 1557.85, and 2030, 1557.85. Okay, there it is. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Roll call by vote. Merlin?
Aye.
Cory?
Aye.
Sam?
Aye.
Vern?
Aye.
Roger?
Aye.
So, 5 ayes, 0 nays. All right, what else we got on here? Mr. Jones.
Yes.
We have his variance. We have Mark here. You want to speak to that, Mark?
Now, the property that Rod's talking about has a garage on it that's just about to fall in. But those lots on that block are real, there's like 6 houses on one side of the block. So there's more houses than normal in town. So the garage he has now is about 3 or 4 foot from the property line. And he wants to take that garage out and put a new shed the same size back in the same spot, so.
Pre-constructed.
With that, yeah, prefab.
Prefab. I don't see anything wrong with the one you got.
That's this.
You have to wear a hard hat when you go in there.
That's this kind.
Yeah, and he has approval from his neighbor.
Okay.
It's really not changing anything, it's just dressing it up.
So we're more or less,
Destroying this and putting something new up.
Right, exactly.
okay. So we're gonna, I'll entertain a motion to approve that variance, unless there's any more discussion. We can have the motion approved.
One second. I'll motion to approve them. Yeah.
So motion, you second? Okay. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, Cindy. You're up, preliminary budget.
So you've all received our preliminary budget. Take it home, review it. If there's any issues you have, we're going to have a public hearing on the preliminary budget on Thursday at 9 a.m. It's open to the public and any council members that want to come and discuss the preliminary budget.
This Thursday.
This Thursday, you also have the notice here that tells when it is. It's 9 o'clock on September 5th here, City Council member chambers. Anybody who wants to come review the preliminary budget.
So this isn't, because this was in the paper, right?
Yes, it was in the paper.
Because I was asked, this ain't asking to increase any taxes. Right?
No, this is just what the budget that I have prepared.
Because I was questioned on, well, what's this tax increase up for the budget?
There isn't any tax increase. This is just
Yeah, that's what I didn't think of.
levying the increase in city's contributions for group benefits. This is the same as we do every year.
Okay. Any more questions for Cindy before we move on? Okay, we'll move to the next one, Great West Engineering Task Order. I've been visiting a lot with Great West Engineering down in Cullen, and we've got quite a bit of stuff going on, particularly with the annexation over here at Little Sage, and the possible annexation and building a new hospital over on the other end of town. What's that?
The Fiddleback and Industrial Park.
Yeah. And so with that all going on, it's really confusing for Great West when we call on them to help us with this stuff, particularly when it comes to annexation and trying to figure out utility volumes. They've got, Benefits has got their engineers contacting them to look at this and look at that. So Dan and I thought that we would just bring it to you guys to say, what we could do is we could use the city as a clearinghouse for trying to figure out how we're going to bill all the stuff that Great West does on all these particularly these two main projects. And so what we would do is we would set up a task order through Great West, and this is just an example, but we would put $10,000 in it to use it for the projects, and we would stipulate what they would use it for, and then when Great West billed us, we would take that money out of that task order and we take Great West, and we would take the invoice. We would have these invoices very detailed, and we could rebill that money back for whatever benefits chose to get the information and have Great West look at it, or would save. So we would recoup some of that money through us, but at least it would all come through us. Because Great West is having a hard time knowing whether we bill the city or we do another task order and we go Sage or we Fiddleback. Anyway, I just want to throw it out there. See what you did. And Dan said he'd be here, but I knew we were going to be really busy tonight, and so I didn't know I tell him that I'm not able to do much. So he will come if we wanted to come and talk about this next meeting. So anyway, open it up for discussion.
Personally, I think you should come and we have just kind of a workshop session inside the meeting or prior to, and go through some of those things before we, so that logistically we can kind of get for it.
Well, and we figured that, but I just want to start it out right now. So. Okay. Anyway, you're open to the idea as long as we get more information and do due diligence as far as.
Oh, Great West and build walls, no problem.
Yeah.
They love it.
Before I get off of Great West, I'm going to jump back up to public comment, and then we'll get to the last agenda item. I visited with Great West this week, and this is the email that I've got from Dan McCully. The industrial park project is going to get publicized September 19th and September 26th and October 3rd in the River Press for bid. For his project. And then there's going to be a pre-bid conference October 7th at 1 p.m. here at City Hall for an initial discussion if anybody wants to bid, and move to the project site after that, somewhere between mid-March and that going forward. And then the actual bid opening for the industrial park project will be October 14th at 2 p.m. in Helena. It's all digital. So, anyway.
Now, along with the River Press, he's also putting in one-time contract.
Yeah, they go through their natural,
right,
their normal channels.
Right.
But if they just want to let us know that
It'll be local.
You're local too, so anyway, that's just for information.
With the possibility of there being a hospital out there, would that not change all of the bids? Because we're gonna have to put in more water, more sewer, more bigger and better.
We've been pushing that's why we're talking this task order. This guy's been working on that.
Right.
Okay.
But as far as it going to bid, I would think once the bill does say, hey, yeah, we need to do that. Look what we had to do to put the hemp plant in. We had to enlarge the water lines, everything else.
We didn't have to enlarge it, we just had to put it in there ahead of time.
Well, we had to put additional to it to make it work.
Well, it wasn't additional
So
according
we
to
had to-
design. It was just done ahead of the main project.
Sure.
It was still the same amount of water.
Right, but remember they didn't have enough for their fire suppression, so we had to enlarge. Had to put in a little bit bigger pipe. We had to add one extra one on that was too small. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking ahead. The hospital's probably gonna use a lot more water than we ever dreamed that industrial park would need to put out.
Well, all I can say right now, if we get Dan here, you can pose that question to him, because I know he's got guys working on that. And they are, with that contract with Genesis.
Sure, they're aware.
Engineers, and they're working on it. I can't speak any more than that, but if Dan comes if he has a meeting before a city council meeting, we can set that up and then we can pose that question. Okay? Well, definitely aware of it. That's not one of my concerns too.
Sure. I just wondered if it was in that bid application, basically maybe a little bit larger
Yeah.
mains put in and that type of thing.
Well, I think they could adjust by using what they call an alternative. You know, you did it spec A, spec B. And I mean, that would be up to them to determine,
Sure.
but you have it as presented now for spec B and bid both. You know, I mean, that's happened in the past too.
And here's the way I look at it. When they set this, when this thing started, 12 years ago, something like that, when they first think that fish outfit was thinking of something.
Right.
So, anyway, so they set this industrial park up, not knowing even the hemp plant was coming, or what kind of industry is coming into that place. So they've already got this design out there, and now we've been waiting for all these permits. We still, so if you put water in an industrial park, you still don't know what kind of
Needs.
yeah, what kind of business besides a hospital would come in there,
Sure.
and they could use 4 times more water than the hospital would use. You don't know what business it is,
Sure.
but still moving forward. I don't know if we second guess that. But as soon as Benefis gave us a heads up they were interested, I got very much involved.
Sure.
And that's why I brought up that task order idea, because we've got to have them involved. Otherwise, something like that might happen. So, okay. Then we'll get the answers. All right. Ready for the last item? Claim reimbursement on the Fort Benton Funeral Home urban gutter. So, all I can say about that is it was brought to my attention, Cindy, jump in if I'm wrong. We got an invoice on that already?
Yes, we got 2 of them.
We got 2 invoices on funeral home curb and gutter, and it basically caught us flat-footed. We had no idea. We had purchased anybody to build us a curb and gutter across the street. So, we'll leave it open. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? Nobody knows?
Well, the Kinsellas applied for,
Right. But I mean, I guess where I'm at is that we weren't involved in
the actual.
approving a curb and gutter project.
No.
But here we are. with
They
it.
were approved of doing their sidewalk and their driveway and that
Right,
kind of
right.
stuff. But as far as the handicap access.
So do we have somebody, what's that program?
The they have applied for their revolving loan
What's already been.
sidewalk loan project. They've already came and applied for it and got the application ready to go.
And that's gonna include the curb and gutter?
That was, what they applied for was their
we applied for the tax increment for the sidewalks, and
Okay.
that was the building permit that we had received.
What about the curb and gutter? Where did you plan on paying for that?
Well, the curb and gutter, I guess, in my recollection is, I didn't think that, I mean, nobody told me that I had to have prior approval.
Well, you don't, as long as you're paying the bill. You have your building permit,
I had my building
right,
permit,
that's all you
yes.
needed.
So I didn't have to put in curb and gutter?
Well, you did, yeah,
Okay,
but
but,
the question is who's paying for it? 'Cause
Right.
The city wasn't
That's what
aware
she's
we were gonna get
That's-
billed for it.
that's why I'm here, is to ask, I guess, if there was a miscommunication or if I missed the point.
Could you state who you are first? 'Cause
I'm
not quite sure I
Jennifer
know you.
Kinsella with with Benton.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, I guess where we're at is that I got hit with this last week and, my street supervisor knew nothing about getting billed for this. Cindy didn't know anything about getting billed for this. I didn't know anything about getting billed for this curb and gutter. But now it's here it sits. So,
Okay, so I'm guessing that when I applied for the tax increment district was for the sidewalk. And then the ADA thing was gonna be paid by you and the storm drain.
now Scott did tell me that he was okay with the ADA and the asphalt gap. That's the hole in front of the gutter.
Right, but I didn't,
That's all, that's the only communication he has, to cover the ADA deal.
and the storm drain,
And the storm, yes, yes, and the storm.
and the
drain.
storm drain,
Yeah,
right?
but the actual concrete for the curb and gutter.
So my name is Nick Bogart. I did the work, Cowboy Concrete. If I can interrupt, when we first did the variance, permit and whatnot, I think what you guys know, you guys were here. How it was explained to us was there's two separate programs. And it was explained to us by Mark Ballin, right across the street. There's two separate programs. One is a forgivable on your taxes. It's that program that we put on your taxes, any sidewalk. It's 3 years payable back. All right. The other one we were told is there's another program. And that's for anything on Front Street, any curb and gutter, because correct me if I'm wrong, there's been a lot of curb and gutter done in this town. And I would like to know why no one ever received a bill. In my profession, the curb and gutter, it's part of the street sewer. That's not part of, she only had to do curb and gutter because the sidewalk butted up to it. Or else she could have left it looking like dog crap, like 90% of them. But my question is, 3 years ago, why wasn't that one done anyway? It's right across the street. So now that she goes and does it, she makes it look nice. All at least we can do is help her out. Nobody else, the one right across the street, there's not even a house on the lot.
All I'm trying to say
Who
is
paid for that
I didn't
one?
know anything about it.
Well, we were told,
we
were told by,
before we.
we were told by your building inspector that this is the program. And when you're done, you just turn your bill into Cindy, and then that's how we were.
That's not when you're done. If you want to apply for TIF loan, you have to do it, and they have to, Bob Milford's group has to approve it. If you want to bid something for the city, you have to bid it to the city, and they'll approve it. It isn't after you're done.
My question is, did we not turn in the bill for the city sidewalks, and it had to be in before a certain date, so it could be on the taxes? And it got approved, right? We did that last week, correct?
That is your sidewalk revolving
Right,
loan.
but we did
sidewalk.
that last week, right, after the
Correct.
project was finished?
Correct.
So why wouldn't we do the other one after the project was finished? How do you know how much it's gonna cost? How do you know any price overrun that we're talking about for these other pipes and all that? How do you know that until you're done with the project?
The point is that you knew where you were gonna go get the money for the sidewalks.
But we never pre-approved that. It was something totally when it was done. It was done last week.
Did
It's
you
been
make
done
an
a month ago.
application? Was there an
Oh, she did.
application?
Oh, yeah, she did an
You did an application.
She did an
It was
application.
pre-approved.
Yeah.
It was pre-approved.
For
your revolving like sidewalk loan.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't realize I had to apply for the curb and gutter.
My question, Bob,
Yes.
would that curb and gutter qualify for TIF money? That's in the TIF.
Not the way we do things at the present time. That doesn't mean that somebody can't come to the TIF board with a request, and we would review it and we'd see how it fit. But typically, it is the facade of a building.
Well, it is, yeah.
I already did that. Replace the facade of the building.
How did we pay for around the Grand Union's new curbing? Is that a TIF thing?
Yeah,
Oh, TIF.
so it's pre-approved though,
I understand.
right? So, Bob, we did do the gutters at the Grand Union with TIF money.
But we were matching funds in that case.
Yeah.
It was not the TIF,
Through the SLIP program.
totally making a facade or any other. We were working with the city on a grant matching fund.
Okay. So anyway, I guess we're still at an impasse here on what to do.
I'm just gonna offer this point of discussion. It's improvement to our street and our drainage. It's not unlike, regardless of the Grand Union and the status there. We knew we had to do that, but I feel in my mind that we come to a compromise or a solution here, because that's technically ours now. They made their investment on our behalf, regardless if it was approved or not. And now it's improved our street, and it's improved our drainage at their expense. So I'm interjecting that we come to a compromise, or look at this, review this, and do something with this, because it's necessarily ours now.
Right.
And it improved that street, that drainage, the whole issue. And granted, regardless if they put it in their permit and everything, it was done. Otherwise, like Nick has explained, that portion of, and believe me, there was deterioration on that gutter over there, a lot of it. But my way of thinking is that we come to an equitable agreement and pay a portion or pay it all or whatever it is.
Well, that's why I was asking, I mean, we probably could go TIF to help cover it.
So with the TIF, we require an application prior to any work being done.
Unless it's the city. I didn't do an
Yeah,
city didn't do an application,
no,
did we? I didn't do one.
Which bill is it, the 26,000 or the 19,000?
The 19,400 is Jennifer's. She,
Yeah,
on the taxes, she will have,
That's the TIF thing.
yes, she will have a.
Well, that's the
revolving.
sidewalk
The revolving
revolving.
loan fund is what, revolving sidewalk.
Sidewalk is revolving, the other one is.
Technically been covered.
We will get that resolution set up for next meeting to put on her property tax. And she has requested 5 years for that to be put on her property taxes, that 19,400.
So anyway, Roger, I agree with what you're saying. And, I mean, the whole point of TIF is to eliminate blight.
Right.
Stuff that looks bad. So definitely did that, okay? So it is our tax dollars, and we have the TIF board, and most of the time they're involved, because that's why we got them there, and they're going enough to do it. That doesn't mean that we couldn't approve TIF money for this in this case.
Correct.
So that's where I stand.
I buy into that, and I think that we should
I think
honor them by having them put in for that particular program.
Well, they don't really have to put in for it, because the city doesn't put in for it. Just like the curb and gutters out at the Grand Union.
Right.
I mean, we ran it by you guys for matching funds, Bob, is that correct?
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But We've also got another project going on right now. If many of you noticed, there's sprinkler systems going down in the levee that they've been working on for the last 3 weeks. That's TIF money. Did we go through the TIF
Yes.
work for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're trying to evolve, but that doesn't mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Bob, we don't necessarily have to use the TIF board if we get in a tight spot.
We, the TIF board, do not grant money. I mean, we only review what is given to us. We turn back to you and give you our opinion on whatever project has come before the TIF board, and you are the ones who write the check, make the decision. One comment I would like to throw out is if we're talking about 24,000, that's 2 TIF facade projects equivalent fund-wise. So granted, that's what TIF money is there for, is to be reduce blight in the city, but you're going beyond the scope of the TIF board significantly.
Well, that's my point, Bob. I guess that if we were to approve TIF money for this curb and gutter tonight without TIF board input, how much?
Yeah.
I mean, would we?
You're right.
Would all the board members quit and say, why are we here? Or, you know?
Well, that's a immediate feeling on my part. But the city has done things in the past with TIF money that didn't necessarily get approved by the TIF board. At one time, there was a gutter collapse, and TIF money was used as an emergency fund for that particular project. But that person paid the money back to the TIF board. And so it's totally up to you guys how you want to see your
How
TIF
about this scenario, Bob?
used.
I mean, how would this look if we would just convene the TIF board and bring it to them after the fact? Or give them, you know, how it got to where it is today.
If you're recommending it to the TIF board will approve it. Simple as that. I mean, if the council says, hey, you know, this is
At
what
least
we
we
want to
wouldn't
do.
leave out. I don't want everybody to say, why are we on a TIF board? They're not even bringing that, any of those projects to us.
It's a sticky wicket.
Yeah. Or we could
And the biggest thing with it is if you do this, there will be others coming up.
Well, I'm hoping not. Well, we know it won't because 2028, it was done.
We'll quit getting money into the
Yeah,
TIF, yes.
right. So I know sometimes it's difficult to get that TIF board. What if we just hold them by phone?
Yeah.
If that would be appropriate to go ahead and do that.
We'll do whatever the council wants.
Roger, anyway, all you guys, for that matter, what if we were to pull the TIF board, tell them the situation, and see what they think about it, and then next meeting, we table it for right now, next meeting, we get more feeling from the TIF board, and they're okay with it, then we can approve it. Well, the next meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, that sounds good. At least we got, I mean, I know it's after the fact, but at least we're getting involved. Okay.
I have a comment. So basically, if I understand what it is they did something without applying to do it, and they're billing the city for it. Is that what we're discussing?
They're asking for reimbursement.
They're asking reimbursement, but
Yeah.
they did it without approval. Am I correct?
In conjunction with another ongoing project.
But wouldn't that open it up for other residents if they don't like something? They redo it and send you guys.
Well, first off, it's gonna be in the TIF.
district.
Tip. Well, this wasn't in the tip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What
It's
is
a
it? Okay.
certain defined area within, it's from the grand, or the,
Lumberyard.
from the lumberyard down to the traffic circle on Front Street. If you're not there, you're not in the tip.
Okay,
So,
okay,
right.
now I understand.
And then in 2018, the tip is gone.
28.
Or, 2020. I'm only 10 years behind. Oh, wow. Okay. So we will table that. Table that until next.
So it's postponed action.
Pardon?
Postpone action.
Postpone
That's
action.
my understanding, you've already paid this, you're just asking for the reimbursement. Or is Nick sitting out there hanging, waiting to get the money?
Nick's waiting for money on the sidewalks, right?
You're waiting for all the money.
Make sure that.
How about if I buy your beer? I'll let you get
Depends on which bar.
Okay, so we will, what do you call it? Postpone action? Okay. That'll be on the 16th. Okay. So, Bob, would you help me try to call these people by phone call? Yes. I mean, I got the numbers and I'll try, but I have trouble actually, I get one yet. You bet. Okay. All right. So, there's no other, we're gonna go to the department. Tim,
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Mark, you got any more? And let's, Carol, give you
Don't have anything on it.
who's back there?
Well, Mark, he.
Yeah.
Oh, you were shaking his head.
Oh,
So, you know everything? Okay, so, thank everyone for coming, meeting's adjourned.
Partly all of them.
Thank you.
Oh, see you down there.
Roger, I can bring it on for update on the state park.
well, we have most people that is.
So you didn't have to read all that.
Yeah. We were just.
Well, that's kind of.
Pre-discussing.
Be a better site here.
And I mean. Yeah. We are fine.
Kennedy, that's a general.
He's a busy guy too.
If you want it to be, I can put it, whatever you want.
I will ask. Oh, wow.
Cities.
The local community.
Yeah.
City or.
Like
You asked me that, but you told me to talk to him.
That's why I called.
No, I never talked to that guy in my life.
He claimed you talked to him.
Okay.
Just, it ain't a problem.
Did he talk to Merle? Because he sure hell never talked to me.
Because he says, "Slam, you're the only one that bought. Nobody else cares about it."
Oh, shit, if it's up to me, I'd be over there with dynamite right now.
They have 2 years as
Contractor.
this will protect it.
Yeah, they said that crap, so that hurts. Yeah, I have to pay for it. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let me know.
He said, "Well, I'm just gonna call my, you know, we called it something.
I don't know.
And I'm gonna get
But
it.
yeah,
So they were kind of just letting you know what the interest is, and they're not really asking for anything at this point. And
Well,
then-
It came down to where he
Yeah,
got some
they're
company
gonna be on the agenda.
that transports migrants dumps somewhere in the United States. He says, I
On
can
what
get
shift?
60 migrants up here in about 3 days.
Because like.
How much
Then
space?
you guys gotta take
Because
care
we
of
didn't have
it.
anything.
Okay,
Let's go.
Right, how do you even,
You know,
He said, no, then we'd be
where,
responsible
you know,
for
some.
giving them temporary housing and feeding them. That's what he said. He told me anything.
Well,
Believe me, I'm gonna confront him when I see him.
That much is good.
That's what pisses me off, is that I talk to him.
Yes.
I don't know that I've ever said hi to that gentleman.
Now, we're not the only
Well, I
ones.
know it was,
30 years.
Yeah.
So where he come up with, he
Other
I
communities.
kind
talked
of
to me and
remember
I didn't
last
think it was
time,
a
if I'm
problem.
remembering right, it
No,
seems
Benton
like
didn't talk
because
to
you already
Merlin
had a
either.
pool,
I don't
it was like basically
Well, yeah.
you know, a similar
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
thing, but,
I have no problem with it, you, you're the one that's
That
responsible. I said,
right.
I don't
Just carry a certain
They
way, like-
accused me of turning you down and doing a second story.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't turn it down. I can't do that.
No, Karen.
He never even applied for the variance. But I don't
He
like
talked
it.
about it.
That was it. It's my fault because
As Lions Club or as Lions Club
Should
Animal?
we show him how to get out towards that?
It was basically.
I hope he moved the roads out. That's where he built
Yeah,
that
right.
house.
I haven't heard.
I think
That's the whole thing, is when he said that they had money to tear that thing down.
And then he was putting up that
We don't
duplex.
have it laid out.
Well, now he's got this
But
two
there's
giant
no time
apartment
for you.
complexes.
Yeah.
In Lewistown.
They were hoping maybe that.
He's got contractors to do that and that and that, but not to remove that cement.
Yeah, Jan's over there for 2 weeks. Kelly took
They want to get
the whole dirt
If
for 2 weeks.
all
Not even under gold.
pieces come together to go ahead and say, yeah, we're gonna move it.
Yeah. Well, you know, Jens is getting paid.
But,
He's just blowing it off, is all he's doing, he's just playing the
I
game.
don't see it right now.
We need to put a deadline on that.
If it started out 22.
His last,
Yeah,
his last
and it's-
deal was that his son was having money that wasn't there. His contractor was having financial difficulties that couldn't get.
Right, then they sat right here and said, yeah, and that's when we gave them the extension, but, yeah.
So that's when we said split. And then,
Now it's,
Oh.
and then now he's asking us to go to the deadline.
now he wants to say he'll do it when he
Yeah,
get around.
yeah.
That ain't
I
right.
think we go over there and
I
have
want
a
to see
portion
that.
of the city's property.
Well, see,
There's
that's,
the pool.
if we push really hard though, then we'll have
Stages
to
and
get
stuff for
through season.
the. I want to see it involved.
Because
Keith Parkins over there.
unless you can find a gym,
Adjacent to the street.
Mm.
but there's no, there's.
I think most of all in front of that,
There's events.
cemented over, I don't know.
Came up with all that.
Well, my point is
They
that
can do the
if
same
he's
thing.
gonna take us right to
This
the
will
line,
just
then we're gonna have to have a service.
Funny, width-wise.
He was gonna just
Oh, yeah.
take
Then,
5 feet,
again, this is preliminary
and it might be close, might
overview,
not
we
be
took a
close.
design sketch.
What I did
Lincoln,
is,
enclosed
his lot is
it
100 foot
on
long,
the city.
different than most of the lots of it.
Okay.
So
That's just.
I went to where the sidewalk is, which is usually the city's
But it
property, and
is.
measured 100 foot back,
Real nice
and he was about
idea, you know, different things. like
4.5 feet.
My
Into the
That's why I
city.
said between 4 and
ideas
5
are, it's, I
onto
don't
the
know how
city
many.
property.
So what would it cost us to get
It might
Rudy
grow
to
and, you know,
survey that?
Well,
different
Rudy
things anymore.
wouldn't have to survey, we hope we can find a pin.
Oh, yeah.
I think
How much
he would-
is it would get?
He would come down and find the pins
There's
Right.
gotta be a
That's
pit
there.
right there.
in the back. There is.
Right there by the.
Or would you create the use?
And he needs the poles.
If
Well,
it's
that's
changed.
well, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean,
I
that
don't
was
think
my,
he'd have
one of
to
my
survey.
early questions.
Sure.
That's my use.
Well, that's probably what we should do
Generation
first.
are moving on and the kids are moving on things, but that was like
If
Karen said.
Rudy could come down
It
and
gets
find
him out
the
of the
pins,
house,
because
makes
he can
him
take
move
his
out.
little magic wand and go out
So,
there
yeah.
and find the goddamn,
Yeah.
where we could look for.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
No, it's great.
I might-
Yeah, you
I
don't
might
know
have
if it's
to
been
get-
pulled out or not, but even if it's been pulled out, you can say, that's where the pin is. That's where the pin is.
Yeah,
And all you'd have to do is
So
either
basically,
the
we're
front
just
one or
trying
the
to
back one, it
preliminary.
doesn't matter, because then you could measure,
Exploratory.
you got
Yeah,
100 foot,
introduced it
you know what that
now
is.
publicly.
Wouldn't be-
And we'll just-
wouldn't be that hard.
We had our concrete guy sitting right here, we could just say,
We were
we'll cut it ourselves and build it.
Parties.
That's out of that.
well,
Tentative timeline.
and I offered to
Tentative
get a hold of the
design.
guy that cuts concrete in Great Falls.
Yeah,
No,
but
he
that's
wasn't
off,
here
too.
yet.
That's.
I'm gonna get my own guy, I'm doing it local.
It depends
Is
where
that
you're
right?
at.
Yeah, the local guys.
Guys
So,
want all
yeah,
that
is
cabinet.
that,
I don't
does
know,
the city
every
have a
corner
copy
I
of
can
that
go to
that I
my
can
wood
get?
cabinet.
Just what they,
Obviously,
What they
this guy
presented
does
to
a
you
nice
guys?
concrete job.
No.
It's been surveyed 3 times, and it's been different on 3.
Yep.
Here, there, there.
Yep.
But now these new GPS ones,
We just need to quit giving that guy slack. We give him
Yeah.
enough.
Well, this open-ended
It's never off the road.
No, it'll be there forever.
Well, you got the same problem down at the other end of town. Let him build up the road and then
Well-
go take it on.
It's getting down to the time where you just go to
You want that?
the maintainer.
This is,
The road.
that's what I
Oh,
told
okay.
Andy, I said, we just won't blow a road in there.
That's what I was thinking, that's
Easier to
what
put the
I
road
was
in.
It would.
It's gonna be the most expensive for us, but at
So this
least we
is how
have,
it would be, this
we
one's.
solved the problem.
Yeah. I didn't like it would cost that much money to put a road in there.
I would
He's
say-
pretty sure he's gonna win in court.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna have to sue the city.
Kevin just sat back there.
Our guy's
No.
He was
Kevin's
sorry.
guy is like, no,
Yeah.
he doesn't even own the property, so I haven't yet seen Bramlett up here asking about it.
I talked to,
Oh, I guess
Cheatham
you don't
about
need it.
because the
No, that's,
road
Right.
that's actually.
behind him is
Like,
abandoned,
It's just
but
copy.
Frank built on the whole road instead of his.
It just.
Was it Cameron that
Cheatham's
brought
tax
this in, or
bill
stuff that
every
Raymond
year
and
comes out, says
Raymond and
40
Karen
foot
presented?
right of way. He pays taxes.
Yeah, they're the ones.
Not
that-
her.
On Cheatham.
Oh, yeah,
He's paying,
but
his
he's
half
paying
of the
his
road.
half of the road, but she's on his half of the road.
Is she paying the taxes on her house?
No,
Alright.
well, I, she doesn't pay taxes most of the time,
Right,
so.
so she ain't.
So I looked it up on that actual page.
Exciting.
All those buildings are listed on their property.
You won't have insomnia.
They're not listed on our property.
No, right.
So she's paying
Yeah,
taxes based
well-
on the appraised value on the
When I get
buildings,
into it,
but as they would sit on
it's
her
like, it
property.
seems like,
You
you
know,
know, it
there's
goes by.
no
They
connection
don't
to
make
our
it
property.
property.
No, I'm telling Lanny that my sister-in-law,
It's just
Ecolab,
like mostly.
they have a place in BLM, owns a little corner by the highway, and they built a garage 30 years ago.
Oh, I know, and then it all starts to
And they found out
bleed
that 10
together,
foot of
right?
that garage was on BLM land. They told them to move it this year. 30 years later, because you can't take over public property.
Right,
You
right.
can take over an individual, you
Yeah.
can't take over
Right.
the public.
Yep, yep.
According to the form.
Yeah.
Well,
Not in Montana.
the attorney said there is no such thing as
Adverse possession.
adverse on public land.
Right.
Kevin's attorney
Exactly.
said that though, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our attorney.
Well, so did ours.
Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Both of them, and that's just the standard.
Yeah.
Because Cheatham looked it up, and he said, I'm good because I paid the taxes on this. And that's, he said, that's the first criteria in Montana on squatting rights, who pays the taxes? If you pay the taxes, you own it, but if you don't pay the taxes, you don't own it. So, and with Cheatham, where those buildings are,
Sure.
he paid the taxes.
Then that's gonna fall into with the tax thing. Yes, those buildings are, she's paying property taxes on those buildings.
On her property though.
But if you look at the way they assess those property taxes, they,
It doesn't tell you.
they
which
don't
lot
break
it's
it
on.
down by building, they just break, they say, how much are your buildings worth? And this is how much it's worth. I
Yeah.
looked at mine. They don't break my garage off of my house.
No.
They just said it's worth this much.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But wouldn't there be something in the courthouse and the archives that we haven't, how did a guy ever do that, is what I want.
Because
How did the guy get by
because-
Rick Morris's house build his garage right in the middle of the alley?
Because Corey,
How did they do that?
we didn't have zoning until 1979.
Right.
And in the old days, there was a lot of stuff. We still had a dairy in town back when I was a kid.
You didn't get zoning until 79?
1979.
Wow.
Any rate, they didn't care because it was out in the damn country as far as everybody was concerned. It was close to the fairgrounds. It was in the country. Nobody cared. It was only until the time we got structured and really started into, taking account of what's happening. I mean, yeah, you've got buildings and towns.
when he built those buildings, Kittredge's house probably didn't exist.
Oh, it wasn't
was just
even
a-
there.
Oh, God, no, his house.
That was just a big field.
I mean, I ran into it every day where the
Oh, yeah.
garage is right on the property line on the alley. But the garage was built in 1940, so
Yeah.
it's grandfathered in.
Yeah.
My old house.
Yeah.
The
When did
weeds
you
butt up
get
against
Yeah.
each other.
Right.